Well, it's been a weekend of grief filled with several unanswered questions concerning the several road accidents recorded throughout the country. Now, in fact, the past week alone has seen the death of some 23 people through road accidents. Now, let me share with you what our research team has been able to put together to help all of us appreciate the issue better so that we can all be part of finding the solutions to the challenge. Now, for road crashes, last week alone, we recorded 23 people dying through road crashes. Now, let's break the numbers down in terms of where these accidents, took place. Now, you have the Kumasi-Obuasi Highway recording about 13 of these deaths. The Accra-Kumasi Highway recording about 6 of these deaths. East Legon, over the weekend, we had that very gory accident there. 2 people lost their lives in there. Anya, Accra, we had 1 person losing their life on that particular road. And then Gomoa Mangoase, we had also another person losing their life. Now, from January to August, according to the National Road Safety Authority, we have 1,614 deaths, out of 8,653 road crashes. That is a staggering number that we're dealing with. When we do a regional breakdown, you realize that the Ashanti region alone is recording some 325 road crashes, some 325 deaths out of the road crashes, road death that we've recorded in Ghana. Eastern region follows with 246. The Greater Accra region follows with 204. Western region comes next with 100. You have Central with 82. Bono East with 41, Volta with 41, and then the rest follow. So this is how the picture is looking like in terms of the death that we're recording on a regional basis. Now, if you look at the trend of death per accident, by 2018, we were doing some 20.50%, which meant that per every 10 accidents, we had 2 deaths. That was quite scary. We had some reduction to 19.20. It jumped again to 20.20. It came down to 18.30 to 15.10 by 2022. It came to 14.80 by 2023. Huge improvement. But unfortunately for us in 2024, we've not ended the year, but we're doing 18.70. So you can say that we're recording 2 deaths per every 10 accidents. That's quite serious. But what are causing these accidents? One of them is a non-functional traffic and street lighting system in this country, which of course we've spoken about so many times, but who is taking action? Again, speeding, drivers driving irresponsibly. We speed anyhow, we don't obey speed limit. Even when you're driving through town and you have to go below 50, some of us are doing 70, 80, 90. And that is resulting in so many of the accidents that we're seeing. Again, drink driving. I remember the advert where we're told don't drink and drive, but people are getting drunk and are driving in the process. I mean, that is something that we need to talk about. And again, the quality of our roads, the nature of our roads is also something that we need to be worried about. Now, when you look at the trend of poor versus good road in Ghana, by 2010, we had 27% good roads in Ghana. The blue line is the good road. The orange is poor. We had 29% being bad roads. Okay, so 29 was good, 27 was bad. Then in 2011, we had 24% good roads as against 28% bad roads. But the case became different by 2012. We had 46% good road, 21% bad road. Then it became quite a greater success by 2016. We had 56% of good roads as against 6.70 bad roads. But we see that the picture is not the same, but we see a bit of improvement here. 2023, we're doing 38% of good road and 18% bad road, but it's still not the same as in 2016. Something ought to happen. Now, when it comes to traffic lights that are functional or not functional in this country, according to the National Road Safety Authority, 75 of traffic lights are not working in Ghana. Why that, and why are we not solving it? Maybe today we get answers. We also want to bring this particular road. This is the Temamoto Way. They've just started reconstruction of this road. So all the street lights you see in the median here have been taken off. But we are asking, why have they been taken off from the median. And again, if it's for the construction, why have there not been any, option being provided for the motorway? Because the road is quite dark, and we all understand that the darker the road, and of course, it becomes prone to accident. So we're going to get answers, but this is why you and I need to be on this. Let's find solutions. We are recording so many accidents, and you and I need to find the solutions. And that's why we've put together all the team that we could, the National Road Safety Authority, people who understand road safety, to help us know what we have to do. What is your role? What is my role? Together, we find the answers here on PM Express. Do stay with us. All right, thank you for joining us here on PM Express. My name is Samuel Bruce. Now, Syntex Tanks, it says Ghana, get ready for the biggest giveaway from Syntex Tank. And Syntex is visiting 15 communities, giving them free water. This is to say thank you, Ghana, for making Syntex the number one. Syntex was the first to introduce double-layer tanks in Ghana. And you also know that Syntex tanks come in so many colors and was first to come out with what we all know as inner white layer. So when it's not Syntex, forget about it. Now, if you are a community and you want to benefit from Syntex free water giveaway, just log in to social media handles at Syntex Ghana and nominate your community. The more you do the nomination, the better the chances of Syntex coming to your community. Remember, it's Syntex tank. No be any tank, be tank. The correct tank be Syntex tank. Syntex tank, strong, tough. The Academic Times Ghana is an incoming graphic and online publication aiming to collaborate with university authorities and students to ensure that student research is published in summary form. So if you're a student, take advantage of that. Now your favorite MGO platforms are back on TuneIn. So go on to TuneIn and look for your favorite station, Joy FM, Love FM, Adom FM, Asempa FM, and Insure FM. All your beloved multimedia group brands are now back on TuneIn. So tune in to the best of news, music, sports, and entertainment from Ghana's top stations. Well, let me welcome into the studio my guest, Engineer David Osafo Adonting, is Acting Director General, National Road Safety Authority. Engineer, good evening. Thanks for coming. And we also have Inusa Fuseni, he's former Minister for Roads and Highways. He'll be joining us via Zoom. We also have Cecil Ebo Gabra, I love the Ebo in there, Transport Consultant, CEO, Top Tech Ghana. Chief, good evening. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Okay. Now, Reverend Cyril Benedict Crab is President, Accident Victims Support. He will also be joining. Okay, Reverend. Yeah. Thanks for coming.
Thank you, Reverend.
Okay. Now, let me start with you, Mr. Gabra. What is our fundamental challenge? Why we don't seem to get it right in our effort to reduce road crashes? I mean, last year we did better, but this year it's like it's going too much.
Well, I think I mentioned earlier on that we have been joking with road safety. That is it. We are joking. We wait till there's a big bang. Then what happens? We'll talk about it. And then the pressure comes down. Many more accidents occur every day in our lives. It is simply because we are not a serious country. I mean, I say this without fear or favor. Right? If you look at the National Road Safety Authority, they've got the men working, but then they don't have equipment. When I talk about the equipment, I even start with vehicles to run around, check, work with DVLA, work with other stakeholders. They don't have it. So I ask myself, what sort of budget do we have for road safety? But meanwhile, road safety can generate a lot of income. If you look at people flouting the road regulations every day in our lives, I think we can make a lot of money. People talking on the mobile phone, people not in seat belts. And what are we looking for? We are looking at road safety in general. So you and I will arrive alive in one piece and not in pieces. That must be it. But here we are. Every politician will come and say, vote for me. Have you heard any politician talking about road safety to say, vote for me, and then accidents will be the issue of yesterday? No. But you and I use the vehicle every day. Goods and services are transported by the road. 99% of it. 1% I'll say for the others, airplanes and so on. So we need to concentrate on road traffic issues. We have the best legislative instrument in Africa. I have a friend from Rwanda. He contacted me about 6 years ago. Said, Cecil, look, I need a copy of your LI 2180. I was feeling a little bit reluctant, but I gave it to him and said, look, what we want is in your LI, Okay, so they are going to find a way to do some little changes and so on and then adapt it. But we have the best and we are not using it. We have all the men, I mean, right from all the stakeholders, National Road Safety Authority, DVLA, other stakeholders. We have the right people to work. But here we are.
If you say
we are handicapped.
You are not using the LI. What do you actually want to say? The police are not doing it, or who is not using the LI?
Well, the LI is big.
Yeah.
We have the main issue is enforcing the laws. I'll give you a very simple thing, and then when you leave here and you are driving, just watch by the roadside. You see someone riding a bicycle without lights.
Yeah.
Okay? And I'm telling everybody, just look out for it. And it is all over. But then if you look at the LI, it's just, states specifically that, look here, you cannot ride a motorbike, you cannot drive without lights, you cannot ride a bicycle without lights. So the laws are there, but the major issue is enforcing the laws. That's a major problem. Traffic lights, people are running through traffic lights because the police are not there. And then thank God to the IGP for providing motor riders to check on all this. So the implementation process of our road traffic regulation is the major issue, and it's a big problem. We'll talk about it. And then I always say that when we have accidents, unless maybe it's a big man in quotes, then we'll talk about it. But a little man or the people who are in the villages that are being knocked down every day, and then those accidents, we don't talk about it.
Okay.
But these accidents that occurred at East Legon, I've had a lot of calls to find out what really happened and so on and so forth. Fine, right? We have, discussed it with other road safety people, and then I can tell you for a fact that it may be the vehicle. Right. First of all, 16-year-old or so driving. I'm not too sure about the age. I'm not going to talk about the family. But if it is true, it is wrong. We have the LI. You look at it specifically. What is it? The LI talks about the age limit. Okay, that is, the person must be 18 years of age. But again, I was at a public program. I did public lectures for DVLA. And then in my lecture, I said, we need to look at the age limit. 18, we need to look at it and then bring it to 16 because all the countries, most of the countries are doing it. You look at a 16-year-old boy or girl, plumpy, very intelligent. Let's review the laws. Our laws, the 18 was implemented somewhere in if I'm right, 1996. First it was 1950-something, came to 1996. 2012, it is still there. But then the lactogen babies are no more lactogen babies. I mean, you talk to a 16-year-old and then you have a chat with him. Some of the things that he knows, you don't know. And we need intelligence to drive. It is not anybody who can drive, right? I have a driving school. I mean, we started as a driving school. Somebody walks in there and then says, oh, I want to learn how to drive, right? The forms that you complete, there's a portion to ask you, have you been mad before? Okay, obviously you say no. But here it is that you put somebody in the lectures and the person is laughing, ha 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 ha. Then you find out that no, there's something wrong with this person. This person cannot go back on the steering wheel to drive. This is a typical exam. It happens most of the time. Right, so we have the laws. Let the law work at this very moment. It says 18. Okay, but then this accident, I understand it is 16. And I saw videos of the young man driving using the Steptronic gear. Okay, fine. He may not understand it. But you have an automatic vehicle, and then you have by side plus and minus. A lot of people don't even know what it means. And that is a Steptronic gear. I saw a video for him with him using that Steptronic gear, and that is wrong. Steptronic will drive like a manual, but then you must use it at the appropriate time where you are descending or climbing hills. Okay. If there's more time, I can give that explanation.
Let me bring in the National Road Safety Authority and find out from you, from what you do know, I'm sure you'd have the numbers. What is the leading cause of road crashes in this country?
Good evening, and to all your viewers and listeners, your team, and also my regards to my good friend Cecil, and to commend him for his good job, his advocacy in helping the whole process of ensuring safety on our roads.
Okay.
Indeed, I think it will not be the first time the National Road Safety Authority or myself will be talking about the causes of crashes in Ghana.
Sure.
Because crashes have become more or less something we have come to live with. And so we have spoken about it severally.
Yeah.
To the extent that I believe by now, a lot of people, majority of Ghanaians, are aware of what can cause a crash. But let me just emphasize on a few.
Yeah.
We have three components that are operating and interacting at one point or the other. We talk about the road, we talk about the vehicle, and the driver or the human being. Now, this interaction, if there should be any deficiency at one point or the other amongst the three components, then it is likely that a crash may occur. Now, but we have all said that you take the road factor out and take the vehicle factor out. But the most prevalent is that coming from the human behavior. Okay. And so most of the time we talk about more than 90% of a crash occurrence is attributed to human behavior. Now, these human behaviors culminating into acts of traffic speed in Ghana, the most critical, the enemy of road crash is speeding, what we call overspeeding. I think that by and large, anytime you hit the road, you will find people driving as if they are using aircrafts, as if they want to fly. I've always told drivers that if you want to fly, you turn your car into an aircraft, go to the Civil Aviation Authority and register and fly, but not on the road. It is not acceptable. That is the more reason why the law has given provisions that guide us when we are using the road. In Ghana, the highest speed you can go or you can travel is 100 kilometers per hour, and that should be only on the Accra-Tema motorway. Okay. But I believe even now, the Accra-Tema motorway will not allow you, because of the condition, to ride at 100 kilometers per hour. On a highway, maximum is 90 kilometers per hour. And then when you get to settlement and so on, we graduate it down to 50, 30 at school areas and so on. People are aware. But there are a lot of road signs that have been installed along the roads. They know. Other people have gone through driving schools. To the extent that can confirm it, that a lot of them come through the driving schools, and there are highway codes. There are other materials that we use. The National Road Safety Authority engaging drivers almost on daily basis. It is not like they don't know. But the most critical problem we have is irresponsibility. Drivers, in particular, to be responsible as people sitting behind the steering wheel, knowing the rules and the regulations and complying with them. They do not want to comply with laws and regulations. They know the laws, but they just don't want to comply with. I will use today's example, 13 people losing their lives as a result of a certain driver who completely misbehaved out of ethics of driving. A VIP bus, you've gotten on a highway, you got to a place where you found a colleague whose car, vehicle, or bus has broken down, and so you found the driver, the passengers stranded. You decided to help, and so you had to load the stranded passengers onto your vehicle to add on to the ones who are already in the bus. Right from there, it's overloading. The bus becomes heavy. Now, driving becomes a big task for you. As you move, if anything should happen, maneuvering to safety becomes very, very difficult.
Okay.
Apparently, there was an argument in the bus because of the overloading, and you, as a professional driver, involved yourself in the argument. So right from the word go, you have failed. So this is how crashes can occur. It doesn't come by magic or by a miracle. It comes as a result of somebody's negligence, being irresponsible, and trying to avoid certain situations that he has no capacity to maneuver to safety when it happens.
But why are we not getting it right? If we understand that the human behavior is a leading contributor, why are we not getting it right?
So I think I'll come back to Mr. Cecil's position. You see, it's about you and I. We go to school. I am a civil engineer, a transport planner. I've gone through the levels of education, gotten my certificate, and that is what I am applying now. My mind is clear. I know what I'm doing. I'm competent. I believe so. And I do what I'm doing right. But there are ethics, professional ethics around my work. That is why I am guided by laws and principles, so I don't fail. Now, every driver has the same, just like you. You have also gone through all these processes. Now, as you sit there, you are guided by professional ethics. And so you abide by them and you comply by them. That is the more reason why, when it comes to driving, after going through the process, getting your valid driver's license, and then you become a driver, there are laws and regulations that you need to abide with. And that is what the law, Road Traffic Regulations 2180, guides all of us. It tells you of what to do and what not to do. We talk about speeding, we talk about overtaking, how to overtake. We talk about the fact that if you are tired, don't drive. You get to a place, rest. The number of hours or minutes to rest have been specified. We talk about how to maneuver curves. There are so many things, including the highway code, that we have taken drivers through. The fact is that most of these drivers are just recalcitrant. They do not want to apply what they know, the knowledge that have been given to them by Cecil and his group and others, and the National Road Safety Authority's education and sensitization. How many times have we not talked about this? So they are just recalcitrant. They don't want to use their gumption to drive. And if you are not intelligent, sister, I am using your own way. You have to be intelligent. Driving is not, excuse my word, a useless job. It is professionalism. You have to use, because at every point in time, you are using your mind, you are using your eyes, you are using your ears, your hand is working, your legs are working, every part of your body is working. It's a very huge task that requires competent people. The more reason why we do not allow anybody who is suspicious of having some brain problem to be driving. The more reason why we do not allow people who drink to sit behind steering wheel or take drugs, and because you have to be alert, concentrate on the task, and focus at all times.
Okay.
This is what perhaps is lacking in these drivers, some of these drivers that we know.
Okay.
Don't know how some of them get through to have their licenses anyway. But you know, in previous times, people were using all sort of means to get their licenses. But this time, I think things are changing. Now the DVLA in particular has gone automated. Every particular person who wants to go through training and certification and valid driver's license would have to go through a certain training. And I think this is what DVLA has changed the whole format to be.
Okay.
Now, most drivers are going through training. And I think training is one of the critical things that we must insist on. So that anybody who wants to sit behind a steering wheel must have a valid driver's license, gotten not by any means, but through training through the driving school and then some other professional courses and so on.
Okay.
Now, then comes what Sissel was talking about, the underage. You have to be matured. Of course, Ghana will say 18 years and above. Anything below 18 is not acceptable in Ghana. And I'm talking about Ghana. Elsewhere, yes. But once it is a law, and the law has not been reviewed, then we have to go by and comply with the law.
Okay.
A case at East Legon is in mind. Today, my team, the National Road Safety Authority and the police, we met at the scene and reconstructed the whole crash process and saw that it was just unfortunate. And it happened because as a result of a young man, 16 years, who was not matured, had to go through a certain way for such a... It shouldn't happen. It's preventable. Now, this comes a question of who then allowed this boy to sit behind the steering wheel. So much as, Cecil, I agree with you, you are talking about the fact that the boy, as far as we are concerned, the law is concerned, he's flouted the law. Now, the person, if it's the parent, mother or father, who allowed the boy to go out with a vehicle is also liable. Now, that is where we are taking it from. And I must assure you that the discussions that we had with the police today, these people are not going to go scot-free. We are going to go deeper into the matter, investigate, to know who is culpable, and then we'll take him through the process of law.
Okay.
So that it will serve as deterrence to others.
Okay.
This is where we are currently.
So now you can confirm that the boy is indeed 16 years old.
In fact, there are lots of signals that are pointing to that. But I must also say that I cannot say fully 100% that it is so.
Okay.
Because according to the police and all discussions that we had, we have to prove with evidence the birth certificate, school records, church, and all that. We are going through a process to get the full confirmation that it is a 16-year-old boy.
Okay.
If that confirmation comes out through the investigations that is being done, we will come out, and then we'll let the law take its position. That's all.
Okay. So if it so happens that he's 18, the law will deal with him. But if he's 16, what does the law say?
Well, the law talks about the fact that it's an offense. Mm-hmm. So the offense has been established, and so the law courts will decide. And there are penalties associated with this. In some cases, imprisonment or both. And these are the sanction mechanisms that are there. Okay.
All right. But finally, before I let you, I let you hold on. Last year we were doing 14.80%. This year we are doing 18.70. What has gone wrong? What really is a challenge that the rate is increasing like that?
Well, you see, we're in terms of crashes, I think that's the ratings you are talking about.
No, the death per crash, because per accident. Last year, the whole of the year, you did 14.80. So this year, we're doing 18.70.
Crashes, when they occur, we say there are a lot of factors. Now, if you have few crashes, because in our statistics currently, we have seen that in terms of crashes, comparing this year to that of last year, we have some reductions. We have made some savings as far as crashes are concerned.
Okay.
What has gone up is the number of deaths. Now, what this clearly means is that if we are having less crashes but more deaths, then it means the vehicles that are involving themselves in the crashes, either they are high occupancy vehicles or we are having higher speeds than normal or standard. Because few accidents, but the accidents or crashes are so severe that numbers are growing in terms of the casualties.
Okay.
So there are two things. Public buses, heavy, high occupancy buses, or people are speeding. That is the more reason why the National Road Safety Authority, this year in particular, we insisted on, we focus on speeding as one of the critical problems that we want to deal with.
Okay. All right.
We found ourselves in an election year. We know what election years means to us, because if you look at statistics history, we have always gone up the statistics, both crashes, deaths, and injuries compared to the previous year. And so we were very alert. And we are focusing that we engage our political parties and politicians as they move around the country for their rallies and so on. But right after the elections, we have also Christmas just around.
Yeah.
So these are the two critical things, events that we are working towards, ensuring that this time around it will be a bit better than before.
Okay. Let me bring in Inus Afuseni. He's been a former minister for roads and highways. I mean, we're looking at the condition of the road. It also plays a critical role in all of this, road crashes. Now, it got to a point where the good road compared to the bad road, the good was around 56.80, the bad was 7.20. Now, the good road is 38%, the bad is 18%. What must we do differently to ensure that the quality of our roads, is improving such that we know that at least the road contribution to road accident will be minimal?
Thank you so very much for having me. I watch your statistics, I watch your graph. There seems by your graph and the statistics to be a direct correlation between the road network, the
quality of the road,
the condition mix of the road, and the accidents. I mean, the accidents that are okay on the road, because when you look at your graph, it clearly shows that where the roads are good, you record lesser accidents. I mean, less people die as a result of the road accidents. So one thing from your graph should tell us that we want to reduce the number of accidents on the roads. We should improve upon the road network. And to improve upon the road network, you have to invest in the network. Okay. So that's clear by your graph. That's clear. Now, the second thing that we need to do as a people to stem the tide of road accidents from a practical point of view, not legalese or legislative point of view, is to get all road users to understand that they have a shared responsibility in ensuring safety on the roads. Most of the time, you find drivers or other road users exhibiting a level of indiscipline on our roads, and that leads to accidents. Now, all of us need to know that if you are a road user, you have a responsibility towards another road user. We need to know that. And that if you drive safely on the road, you are promoting the safety of other road users as well. So that's where the collective shared responsibility comes in. Now, and even the LI and the law, the traffic act that is being referred to, is a consensus. It's a compendium of consensus on how road users must approach the network. So that if a road user is not approaching the network or using it consistent with the regulations, and that is the consensus that we, the people of this country, have arrived at, that person who is breaching the LI or the Traffic Act must be arrested, so that it will serve as a warning to other road users that if they do likewise, they will be arrested. So I believe that as a people, and the National Road Safety Commission must take it up upon themselves to educate people to understand that you cannot go onto the road and behave with impunity.
But the education, according to the National Road Safety Authority, and Mr. Gabra here has even intimated that the education has been done, the training has been done, but people are just indisciplined.
Education is a continuing act. 20 years ago, those who were road users are not the same people. There's been a change. People will exit the road. People will die. So education is an ongoing process. Now, I'm sure you are a road user. You have a car. If you don't have a car, you sit in a commercial vehicle. Sometimes you are in a car and you find another vehicle, private or otherwise, trying to use the embankment of the road to drive to wherever it's going. There's just evidence of indiscipline.
Okay.
Indiscipline. Or you find a motor rider, a pylon rider, who clearly is ignoring all traffic regulations and ignoring other road users. Clearly, this is a combination. This can be stopped by a combination of the law, the use of the law, enforcement of the law, and education.
Okay.
Now look,
all right,
wherever you are going, even if you are going to Kumasi, you are going to Tamale, and there is, and we've seen it in Europe, we've seen it in other places, and there is traffic on the road. It is safer and better to maintain yourself in the traffic and allow the traffic to move than cutting corners to join the traffic. Okay. Then you expose all other road users to the risk of an accident.
Okay. All right.
That is the bane. That is the bane. Indiscipline is the bane we are confronted with.
Okay. All right. Grateful to you. Let me bring in Reverend Cyril Benedict now. So we've all established that, indiscipline is what is killing us. I'll let you now come in to tell us, if it is indiscipline, what needs to change so that we will get people to be disciplined. But let me take this quick break. When I come back, you address that for me. Stay on. Welcome back from the break. This is still the PM Express. Reverend Cyril Benedict Krabis, President, Accident Victim Support. Reverend, so I think that around the table, we've all established that indiscipline on the part of road users is the leading cause of, death, and even road accident, because that results in death. What has to change?
Well, thank you very much. And once again, a quick good evening to yourself and the panelists. Able, intelligent panelists that you have, and also to your cherished viewers. Well, I believe that when you listen to my Director General, a good evening, Engineer Adonte, he spoke very emotionally. You listen to Mr. Cecil, he's also spoken very intelligently. And Honorable Aruna has spoken humanitarianly. I want to come from another point of view that I believe that should be the game changer in this regard. I have said it here and over again, I'll continue to say that with the case in view, which involves a minor, it tells the entire road safety stakeholders that there must be a deliberate reorientation with regards to road safety. I'll repeat it. There must be a deliberate reorientation. This is a minor. Behind the cameras, we were discussing it. And he said it earlier that in other places, they have reviewed the law that the 18 years is no more working because there are 16 years who are very smart. My Director General comes from another tangent. But I believe that sitting here as one that experiences and encounters accident victims, which includes children who crosses the road at the risk and peril of their lives, I must tell you that there must be a deliberate reorientation. If we really want to curb this madness we are seeing, with this case that has happened, this is a child, I believe he loves to drive. But do the parenting in the house, have they ever exposed him to the techniques, to the do's and don'ts of driving? Or
that's why Mr. Gabriel says
it's just the fun
you have to
of
go
it.
Through the training.
It's just the fun of it. That's why I'm saying we must go back to the drawing board. I'm doing a program called the Safe to Safety Child Road Safety Campaign, planting lollipop stands at crossroads, where children know only when you see the traffic light, there is something you should know. Red means stop. But when you go to Canada, when you go to the US, to London, to Sweden, we were in Sweden with the road safety. Children and road users knows that when they get to the traffic light or where there's a zebra crossing, they stop.
Discipline.
You can see there's a total disregard of law and order when we are talking about road safety here in this country. I've done this, I've come here with several crash victims, and they have shared their stories. Out of their stories, it gives you the roadmap of curbing the accidents. But it's all falling on deaf ears. If we as a country can go back to the drawing board and teach our children as parents that when you enter, a child at 9 years knows that he doesn't sit in front of a car. A child at 6 years knows that when they sit in a car, they put on their seatbelt. I'm talking about a child who is less than 13 years. They won't even try it. But in this country, it's different. I'm sorry. I'm very sorry the way your face.
No, it's fine. No. I'm enjoying it.
If we really look, like he said, people listening to us, like Engineer David Osafo-Adonti rightly said, we have aged people who knows about park going around to learn how to drive. He's already aged. Things have changed. He said it here. The cars now are using sensors. The cars we have, it is no more road glass. You understand me? Yeah. So if our children in the schools, if our children in primary schools, if our children before they will go to nursery and crèche knows one or two about cars, roads, traffics, regulations, practices, take it from me. There's a man, it's not a man, a Chairman Hogo. Chairman Hogo says that we don't have bad roads, but we have bad drivers.
So I get that yours is we have to start.
We must go back. Since now we have minors on the wheels, we must now talk about it. Engineer on our platform said it, that we should include it.
All right. Grateful. Mr. Gabra, what must change? Moving on from here, what one thing do you think do you want to see change?
Education must still go ahead. Enforcement must be stronger. Enforcement. And that is why, for me, I see, fine, the police is doing very well, but this is a situation where we have the increase of vehicles every year, going, I think, should be between 5 to 7% per annum. Do we have the police to handle all these vehicles? No. I'm looking at bringing in the private people.
Really?
Yes,
private sector participation in this, in enforcement.
It's been done in other countries.
No, it's true.
Training. It's true. You train me, that is it. Now we should go with equipment, because when somebody runs through the traffic lights, right? Cameras are there at the headquarters. I've been there before. They are working, right? Now there are others that cannot be seen by the police. And that is where we need private people like you and I to be trained, not to wear the police uniform, but you see it, you capture it. And definitely when you bring it on board, there's a percentage
that is given to you.
That should be given to you.
Exactly.
What are we looking at? We are looking at road safety after all. We are looking at a situation where every person will wear the coats to drive. What coats am I talking about? You need concentration, observation, alertness, and tolerance. This is what we need. After all, we should all arrive in one piece and not in pieces.
Exactly.
That is what I'm looking at.
Thank you, Mr. Gabra. That's insightful. Engineer David Osafo-Adonti, if there's one thing you want to see change, you are the right place to cause the change. What would it be?
Yeah, thank you very much. Let me say my regards to Reverend. Reverend, good evening. Yeah. And I think for the sake of this discussion, let us all establish the fact that our problems is the indiscipline. I think I agree 100% with that. And I also added responsibility. But let's say indiscipline. But indiscipline is about humans. It's a very, very, very big task.
So, Engineer, you have 30 seconds to make the point for me, I beg.
Okay. So I want to say that to fight indiscipline, and the best medicine to fight indiscipline is enforcement. And that is why if you go to the Europes and the Americas and so on, enforcement is very, very key. Because if you want to deal with human attitude, education can do its part. But if we have very strong enforcement, I believe that we can change the narrative.
Okay.
So we have to support our police for them to do everything they can to strengthen enforcement to support the kind of education we are doing. I'm
grateful. Let me bring in Mr. Fuseni. So, Mr. Fuseni, what do you want to see change? Just 30 seconds.
We need to improve on the education of our citizens.
Okay.
You know, I'm a lawyer.
Yeah.
The fidelity of the law rests on voluntary submission to the law. People must obey the law voluntarily. Enforcement, the police, the security cannot be everywhere all the time. In fact, sometimes they are compromised.
Okay.
Very security that we put to check the indiscipline on the roads are compromised.
All right.
But we must work towards making the people realize that they have a responsibility to other road users.
Okay.
And they must voluntarily submit themselves to the operation of the law.
All right. I'm grateful to you. I'm grateful to you, gentlemen. Because of time, we have to leave it here.
Let's love ourselves first, and be patient on our road.
All right. Thank you so much, and thank you for doing the viewing. We'll meet again, God willing, tomorrow. Please have a pleasant evening.